Somewhere in a Michigan junkyard right now, there is a car with gull-wing doors rusting into the mud, and it might just be the least embarrassing thing on this list. Because what you're about to hear are 7 vehicles so catastrophically bad that they didn't just fail their owners, they nearly took down entire car companies with them. And by the end of this video, you are going to understand why one of these machines is still called, to this day, without a hint of irony, the worst car ever sold in America. So stick around because that reveal is coming, and it is worse than you think. Let's start at number 7, and it's a car that looked like the future and drove like a punchline. The DeLorean DMC-12. You know the silhouette, brushed stainless steel, doors that swing up like wings, forever frozen in pop culture thanks to a certain time-traveling movie franchise. But strip away the Hollywood magic, and what you actually had was a car with a weak, underpowered engine that couldn't back up the exotic looks it was writing checks for, electrical gremlins that plagued owners from day one, and those iconic gull-wing doors, which sound cool until you realize they had a nasty habit of trapping people inside during accidents, turning a design flex into a genuine safety hazard. And behind the scenes, the whole company was collapsing under a business plan so reckless it eventually involved its own founder in a federal drug trafficking sting. So remember that name, because it will not be the last time this decade proves that appearances lied harder than any salesman ever could. Number 6 takes us from a car that looked too good to be true to one that just looked lazy. The Cadillac Cimarron. Picture this. It's the early 80s. BMW and other compact European luxury sedans are eating America's lunch. And instead of engineering a genuine response, General Motors takes a bog-standard Chevrolet Cavalier, slaps a Cadillac badge on the hood, throws in some velour seats and power windows, and sells it as a luxury car. And if that sounds like a scam, that's because buyers thought so too, especially when they realized this luxury Cadillac came with the same anemic 4-cylinder engine as its Econobox cousin, an engine so weak GM eventually had to bolt on a V6 just to save face. And the damage this did to the Cadillac name took the brand the better part of 3 decades to fully live down, which tells you something about how badly a single bad decision can echo, and that pattern of a great brand cutting catastrophic corners. It's about to get a lot worse. Sliding into number 5, we have a car that genuinely had a great idea buried inside a genuine fire hazard, the Pontiac Fiero. On paper, this thing was brilliant. A mid-engine, 2-seat sports car from an American manufacturer at a price regular people could actually afford, which almost never happens. But the base engine, a sluggish Iron Duke unit borrowed from other GM models, barely cracked 90 horsepower, turning a car that looked like a budget Ferrari into something that couldn't outrun a minivan. And that was the good news, because the bad news is that early Fieros had a poor oil circulation design that caused engines to overheat and, in a disturbing number of documented cases, literally catch fire while people were driving them. And by the time GM fixed the flaw, the damage to consumer trust was already done, and the car was canceled not long after. Proof that even a genuinely good concept can be murdered by corner cutting, and speaking of corner cutting, wait until you hear what number 4 did to its brakes. At number 4 we have the Chevrolet Citation, a car that was supposed to represent GM's bold front-wheel drive future, and instead became a 5-year masterclass in what happens when you rush a brand-new platform to market. Because owners quickly discovered interiors that fell apart, transmissions that failed without warning, and a rust problem that ate these things alive. But the truly dangerous flaw was in the rear brakes, which had a tendency to lock up unpredictably and send cars into skids and collisions. And here's the part that should make your blood boil. As complaints and injuries piled up, GM refused to issue a recall, forcing the U.S. Department of Justice to actually sue the automaker to get them to fix a car that was hurting people, and by the time the dust settled, GM had recalled well over 300 Zollverzerrend citations. But the damage to trust, and to some drivers, was already permanent. And if you think a lawsuit triggering safety defect is as bad as it gets on this list, it isn't. Not even close. Because now we're entering the top 3, and this is where things stop being funny and start being genuinely alarming. Number 3 takes us across the ocean to Italy for a car that sounded like a dream and drove like a nightmare. The Maserati Biturbo. Twin turbochargers, Italian styling, an exotic badge on the trunk. This thing should have been a legend, and instead it became one of the most notorious lemons in automotive history, plagued by electrical failures that seemed to strike at random, weak cylinder heads that degraded engine performance over time, and a general build quality so poor that one writer for Time magazine famously described it by saying everything that could leak, burn, snap, or rupture did so with almost rhythmic regularity. And that reputation followed the Biturbo for its entire 13-year production run, permanently tarnishing what should have been Maserati's ticket into the mainstream American market, and permanently teaching everyone else the same lesson. A beautiful badge means absolutely nothing if the car underneath it can't survive a daily commute. And if you thought that was the low point for a prestige nameplate this decade, brace yourself, because we haven't even reached the 2 cars that experts and enthusiasts alike still argue over as the actual worst vehicles ever built. Coming in at number 2, we have a car engineered around a genuinely clever idea that technology of the era simply could not support. The Cadillac V8-6-4. The concept was ahead of its time. A system that let the engine shut down cylinders on the fly to save fuel, seamlessly switching between 8, 6, and 4 cylinders depending on how much power you actually needed, and even showing drivers exactly how many gallons were left in the tank. But the primitive onboard computers of 1981 simply couldn't execute the switching fast enough or smoothly enough, leading to violent engine lag, glitching digital readouts, and cars that would randomly stall out in traffic. And the backlash was so severe that countless owners paid mechanics to permanently disable the system entirely, just to make their brand-new Cadillac drivable. And think about that for a second. People paid extra money to make their car dumber, just so it would actually work. And that brings us, finally, to number 1. The car so universally reviled that its name has become a punchline shorthand for automotive failure itself. The Yugo GV, imported from Yugoslavia and sold in America for under $4,000, the Yugo was marketed as an unbeatable bargain, and buyers lined up in droves, desperate for a deal that good. But what they got in return was a 55-horsepower engine that struggled to merge onto a highway. No air conditioning as standard, and a build quality so shockingly poor that Consumer Reports famously and mercilessly described the entire car as barely more than a loosely assembled bag of nuts and bolts. And that wasn't hyperbole, because these cars broke down with such alarming regularity that they eventually triggered U.S. import restrictions. And decades later, when automotive historians and publications sit down to rank the worst cars ever sold on American soil, the Yugo doesn't just make the list, it topples every other contender to sit alone at the very top. A permanent monument to what happens when hype completely outruns quality. And that's the real through line connecting every single car on this list. The DeLorean's stainless steel fantasy, the Cimarron's badge-engineered lie, the Fiero's flammable ambition, the Citation's ignored safety defects, the Biturbo's